So now what you need to do is open up a Word document or something similar tool, and then you need to create a rectangle shape to then drop all of your images that you want to create your stamp from into. So this is what it should look like at the end, a rectangle box with all of your images dropped in, and this shape needs to be the same size or slightly larger than the gel sachet that you're going to use. So normally on the box you should see the dimensions of the sachets. They come in a medium and a small size, and then you can work out how big to make your rectangle box, either by using the ruler tool that's in Word, or by actually holding the gel sachet up to the screen. And so long as you're in 100% view, which we are here, then it's quite easy to size up your rectangle shape. So if I just show you very quickly how I've created this here, because that's where you want to get to. So the first thing you need to do is insert a shape. So go to insert shape and just insert a rectangle and draw it on the screen. And I just need to, bear with me, get rid of that box there. Okay, so we've got a rectangle on the screen and we just need to size it up to make it the size of the sachet. So I'm just estimating it here based upon the one that I've already got, which is to size. But what you would do, as I said, is get your gel sachet, hold it up to the screen and make sure that it is just slightly larger. Now, they seem to have changed Word since I've had a Mac, and they make the rectangles blue now, which they didn't used to do. They used to be clear, so we want to get rid of that colour. So if you just left click on it and then go to Format, Auto Shape, and we want to change the fill colour. We don't want any colour, so change it to no fill, and then change the line colour to black. Okay, so now we've got a black rectangle, or black outlined rectangle with no fill colour. Then what we want to do is insert a text box. So if you go to insert text box and just draw a little box there, and then once you've got that, if you go to insert, and then you want to insert your pictures that you've already inverted to negatives. So if I go to find, bear with me, I've just got to find where my images are. Okay, and I just want to insert a couple of the negatives that I've already created here. So if I just put in any, okay, so there's one, and then I want to insert another text box and another image. So again, insert, and then again another text box, and then if you insert your image, so I'm not going to put them all in, but hopefully you get the idea. Put your images in, and then because we put them into a text box, it makes it easy for us to then move them around so that we can maximize the gel sachet to get as many images in. So we would just move them around and make sure that you've got a little area here. I normally leave about a centimetre gap around, so that when you see the gel sachet and when you wash it out, you actually have to cut round the seam. So you don't want your images right up to the edge, otherwise you risk cutting part of the image away. So just assume then that we have filled this rectangle box up with lots of images here. What you would then want to do is, obviously, as I said, move them around so that you've optimized the space and you've got as many images as you can fit in there with space around. But you also need to make sure that they're of the correct size. So if you left click in the actual image and then go to Format, Picture, and then go to the size, you want your images to be about 2 centimeters. So if we go to about 2 centimeters there, and again on this one, Format, Picture, and I'm going to take that one down a little bit because that's over 2 at the moment, and the same as this one here. So Format again, and we take that one up to about 2 centimeters. But normally what I then do is get whatever shape cutter you're using to make your charms. If you then get that particular shape cutter, hold it over the screen to check that the image fits in there nicely, and that you can also fit the hole for the jump ring and also any writing that you're going to do on there. So long as you're in 100% view, then you know that that's going to be the correct size. So for instance, it may be necessary to take this particular picture up. So again, left click and go to Format. Make sure you're clicking on the actual image and not the text box. Then go to Format, Picture, and again I just take her up a little bit over 2 centimeters. Yeah, so I would then fill up the rest of this box with images of the correct size, leaving a little space around. And then what you need to do is change the fill colour of the actual text box that your images are sitting in. So if you left click on the text box, go to Format, Text Box, go to Colours and Lines, change the fill colour to black, save that, and do it on each one. So again, Format, Text Box, change the fill colour to black, do it then. So this is the text box, format the text box, change the fill colour to black, and then what you want to do, assuming you've got all of your images in there, you then click on the actual shape and then you format the auto shape and change the fill colour of that to black as well. And then what you're left, assuming that you'd dropped all of your images in there, you're then left with this. And this is what you then want to print out. So I'm not going to show you how to print it out because all printers are different. And because I'm using my recording software, it's using up my USB port. So I can't connect my printer at the same time. But basically, when you come to print your artwork, you need to do a couple of things. You need to change your printer settings so that you're printing on photo matte paper, and you want to be adjusting your printer settings so that you're printing in black ink only. You don't want to be printing in colour. So although the image is black and white, if you don't change it to black ink, it makes the black from drawing different colours, and then you won't get a true black. So make sure you change it to black ink only. And then you want to change the ink density to ink volume. So you need to look in your printer settings to find those things. Most HP printers will have the option to change your ink volume. If you don't have that option and you can't get your artwork black enough, then you can print your artwork out twice and overlay it so that it's double thickness. But hopefully, if you've got a HP PhotoSmart, which is the printer that I normally use, then what you're going to want to do is change your printer settings to print on photo matte paper, change it to black ink only, and change the ink volume or ink density to full volume or full density. Then set it to print and make sure that you print it on the special ink transparency provided by Image Pack, which has got a special coated side. So if you just lick your finger, touch the paper, and you'll be able to tell which is the coated side because it will stick to your finger. So you need to make sure you print on that side. When you have printed out your artwork, hold it up to the light and make sure you can't see any light coming through. If you can see light coming through, your artwork is not black enough, and that means you either haven't adjusted the brightness and contrast in the desktop publishing stage in GIMP, or your printer hasn't printed it out dark enough, and you need to look for that ink density setting. As I said, if you don't have that setting on your printer, print it out twice, overlay it and stick it together, make sure that all of the images are lined up, and then you should get some artwork that is black enough.